Hey everybody, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here. Don't forget to subscribe. And today, I want to talk about the kids because we are creating a mental health crisis in our kids, and artificial intelligence is actually dropping a supercharger into this. Now, Emily Price of QZ had a really good write up on this, and quite frankly, I think this is deeply concerning, and it's coming out of the United Kingdom, which is no slouch on these kinds of studies. But a new report entitled Me, Myself, and AI reveals that a growing number of children are turning to AI chatbots, not just to do things like cheat on exams, because Lord knows they're doing that too, but they're turning to these chatbots for emotional support, fashion advice, and I think most concerningly, even companionship. So, this report that was published earlier in July by the nonprofit Internet Matters surveyed 1,000 children and 2,000 parents across the UK and found that 64% of kids, basically two-thirds of kids, are using AI chatbots to do the normal things you would think: schoolwork, practicing tough conversations, that they're going to have with friends and family, all that kind of stuff. But what's more concerning to me is that over a third of basically these children are saying basically that they're talking to a chatbot and it feels like they're talking to a friend. Now, some of the findings are encouraging well, they're encouraging if you're optimistic about AI, and AI's role in education. 42% of children said that they use chatbots to help with schoolwork, citing quick answers, writing support, and language practice. I've done, videos and podcasts and radio segments on, losing the mental capacity as a result of just over-reliance on AI. It's the same argument we had when calculators came on to play, all the way back to Socrates, who wouldn't write anything down because he thought that was basically a crutch, etc., etc. But AI is very different in this manner, given the flexibility and all-encompassing knowledge that AI appears to have. So, digging a little deeper, the picture does get more complicated here per this report, because nearly 1/4 of kids, about 25%, say they're using chatbot for advice. And that advice ranges from what to wear, on how to navigate friendships, mental health challenges, and on and on and on. But there's more to that. And there's more things that are concerning, because 15% say they'd rather talk to a chatbot than a real person. And among vulnerable children, those numbers climb even higher. Now, vulnerable children could be those that have, let's say, an abusive parent at home, they're being bullied at school, etc., etc. And this report, for the record, is not pulling punches, especially when it comes to how unprepared these AI platforms are to cater to young users. Kids are interacting with ChatGPT or My AI in Snapchat, Character AI, etc., etc. These are platforms that are not designed with children in mind. And so, what's the result? These kids are receiving inaccurate information, emotionally confusing feedback, even inappropriate content, even though the terms of service say you're not supposed to get that. This sounds not good. I mean, A Robot Friend, right? I mean, that's like every buddy movie I've ever wanted to see in the 1980s, right? But it's a lot more serious when 1 in 4 children that are vulnerable say that they use chatbots because they have no one else to talk to. We are generating a mental health crisis that we don't need to have. Now, I grew up in a different era, and this isn't one of those, like, when I was your age speeches. It's simply true that I would go outside and we would all play, and we didn't have cellular phones or mobile phones. Our parents didn't know where we were. We had the ability to break things. We had the ability to test our limits. We had the ability to get hurt and learn those limits as well. But we also learned interaction and social skills. We developed friends in a way that the younger generations simply are not. We've all moved indoors out of the fear that child predators were absolutely everywhere, driving around our neighborhoods, when the child predators are all online, because it's a hell of a lot easier to talk to a kid online than it would be to comb a neighborhood, if you will, in a van that says free candy. So these are things that we are inflicting on our children. We're inflicting this on ourselves. Kids are scheduling play dates when they get to schedule play dates with those friends from school, as opposed to just leaving the house and going to a friend's house down the road. And quite frankly, that's a safe thing, even here in the United States, overwhelmingly. So this is not going away anytime soon. And I don't care if it's the UK or it's the United States or it's Canada, Australia, wherever you are, the numbers, thank you, Jonathan Haidt, really show that this is universal among tech-adopted modern countries. And by virtue of that, we are creating isolationism. And if the AI is the only one that children talk to, they're going to start to lose a sense of reality in that sense, because they're going to start to anthropomorphize. They're going to start to see this as an actual sentient thing, when quite frankly AI is nowhere near that yet. And believe me, I've done video segments on this as well, not to mention radio, etc., etc. So this isn't good. And if you have children that are in this age and they are vulnerable in some way, get them an actual mental health professional, an actual human to talk to. Try to get them to go outside. Try to let them have adventures where they can go climb a tree, or figure out what their limitations are. Because if they're sitting at home only interacting online through an Xbox, a PlayStation, an AI chatbot, whatever it is, something is intrinsically lost. And we are fundamentally changing the socialization of what humanity is, and or of how humanity essentially socializes, and it's not for the better. So I'll leave it at that, off my soapbox, but this is deeply, deeply concerning to me, and I think it's only going to get worse over time. And quite frankly, we're not really doing anything to really change or fix this, because we're embracing AI, we're embracing technology, which quite frankly I have no real problem with, but we're also marrying that with sedentary standards, with isolationism, and that can't happen. This can't happen in a vacuum, and it is. And that's a very serious issue. So there you go. Best of luck to our kids. But quite frankly, it's our fault. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well, where I'm usually more upbeat, but today was a rough one. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please attempt to stay private, informed, and secure. Take care.